Hey you guys, Steve Whipple, that's me for WHIPFIT, and as Patreon members you have access to stuff that other people don't. And one of the things that you're going to get access to right now as an instructor or as someone who enjoys taking cycle classes is how to put together a playlist. I've been to several classes where I learned early on what I do not care for, and that's just what I do or do not like. You know, always go down your own road for sure and what works for you and what makes you happy, because that's the bottom line. If you play music that makes you happy, you will enjoy the class and the class will enjoy you as well as the class. So I always try to pick super positive music. Like every now and then there'll be like a heartbreak song or something, but most of my messages, like 99% of my messages, are uplifting and positive and feel good about yourself and always kind of just happy. I think a whole class of like heavy vocals or heavy sounds can just really weigh you down. I like people to feel light and airy and happy and just good. So that's the first thing. So when I construct a playlist, I always have some elements that are included. I always have some walks where you walk out of your saddle, always some jogs, some runs, some sprints, and a climb. And then all of that sometimes has choreography thrown in as well. I like to mix it up. Very rarely do you have a class that is all climbing, all just jogging, or all running, because you want to mix it up. You know, you could not sustain the same type of thing endurance-wise for 50 plus minutes, nor would it be fun. And that's the big picture. What's fun? What's going to engage people? You know, if you look around your class and you're finding people, their eyes are wandering, they're not paying attention, you can tell they're not going for it. Either they're not there with you, or they're not there with your music. So always just be in tune to that. I've been very fortunate enough to find a combination that works for me and the people that follow me. So I always have those elements in it. I try to do songs staggered, boy, girl, or girl, boy, you know, whatever. I alternate. Or I try to drop in a song that has no vocals. I always do that. But I try to space, like I try never to have 3 girls in a row, 4 boys in a row, 2, or you know what I mean? I like to space it out because I want to offer a variety. I love a good, hard, techno instrumental type thing. I love that. I love a beautiful, like, choir or not classical, but like a softer climb as well, because I like to mix up the sounds. I never put together a super big club dance remix next to another one. I love the concept of one big sounding like super big club mix and then drop down to like a slow climb like George Michael or Mary J. Blige or something like that. And then go into like a rock and roll thing from like Panic at the Disco or something like that, and then back down to a female Ariana Grande, you know, something. I like to give it, you know, all this different feels and vibes, you know, because if I'm not doing something that someone likes, maybe the next song will, or if they don't like, or if they're loving the song, then they'll enjoy that. Or if they don't like the song, maybe what I'm doing will engage them. I am always thinking about what is their experience way more than what is mine. So I try to do that. And I have notes because I don't even know what I like to do. I don't even know my own thought process anymore. But I do like to give that mixing of sounds because it's just like a jolt of awareness. If you've kind of checked out of the previous song and you're like, whatever, if something pops in real quick, it's going to bring you back on some level. So I like to do that. Continuing down, you know, I always like to structure the class in a way that there's a built-in recovery. I like people to be able to know they could go for it on one song, really lay it down if they're feeling it, because the next song they're going to have time to recover and then go again. I don't think I've ever done like 2 super fast runs right next to each other. I never do 2 climbs next to each other. and I never do two jogs next to each other. Maybe sometimes I do, but one will be in the saddle and one will be out. So I mix it up that way. But I like people to know that if they're feeling something and they want to go for it because you can recover on the next one. I took one cycle class when I was early on, just taking classes, and it was this woman, and she was a great instructor, but every song she was like, give me 100%. And that sounds great in theory, but like by song 7, I'm like, I gave you 100% on the last 6 songs. This one, let's go for 50. The next one, maybe you'll get 80 back. But I was like this constant, and I took her class a few times and she did it all the time, and I started to not like it because I was like, I cannot give you 100% every single time. I'll give you a good working rate, but don't be at me to go 100% every time. I don't want to. That's me. So there's that. I love to stack what we do. So, for example, and give space. So I try to get a climb kind of early on, like within the first 15 minutes or 20 minutes, usually at the 20-minute mark, because I want to save and have all that space in between for a climb at the end. And usually if I start the class off jogging in our saddle, I'm going to end with a walk, and vice versa. If I start with a walk at the beginning of class, I try to end with a nice little punch at the end of either jogging or sprinting or running. Just so it's just that constant changing dynamic, you know what I mean? Like, just like working out, like, it's good to change up your workout routine or any routine, that involves physical activity, because your body gets completely used to it. Muscle memory happens in everything you do physical, and on some level you can kind of check out of it. So if you want to keep people fully engaged, don't let them know your recipe. Don't let them know, oh, so here comes this, so next is going to be that, and blah, blah, blah. Keep them engaged, and they're going to stay there with you, okay? I'm going to flip this page over. Climb, blah, blah, blah. I got that? Okay. I never want a class to sound the same, and that's what I touched on before. And music selection is big. Like, I am a sucker for a good female pop vocalist. Ariana Grande, Britney Spears, Katy Perry, Taylor Swift sometimes. But I took a class one time and the girl played only those artists and several songs by them. And I'm like, I love Britney, but I shouldn't be hearing 4 of hers along with 3 Taylor Swifts, and 2 Katy Perry. Like, mix it up. That's another way for people to tune out if everything sounds the same. I always start with a warm-up, few, minute and a half stretch. I always end with a cool down stretch. Again, a little bit longer maybe at the end. My classes always hover around 50 minutes, 50, with a built-in stretch at the beginning and a little bit stretch at the end. Because if your club, where you work, if you're an instructor, wants to keep everybody on time, you cannot go to the 1 hour mark. You can, but then it backs up everything. So people appreciate the fact that you respect their time and that you give them enough time to get in and out, and also that you're not keeping them from getting on with their day, because your class is very important to them, but so is the rest of their day. So I'm always really aware of that, because the class is for them. So I've taken a few classes where the instructor goes right up to the hour, and then it's panic to get out as another class is coming in. And it makes everyone just, amped up, coming in and going out. So avoid that. Just give yourself some time. That's good. Time is good. We all need more of it. So there are 2 types of people in cycle classes. One type of person, yes, does not like to know what's coming next, because they want to just get through what they're working on and then they'll tackle the next one right after it. Other people like to know, this is what I'm doing right now, what's coming next, so then I can figure out what my working range is going to be for this. So I tend to do both. I like to let people know on a really heavy song, like on a super heavy climb, give me what you got, because the next song is going to be a nice recovery. So if you want to push this hard, you can, because I'm not going to make you do it again on this next song. Same thing, like if you want to run, if you want to sprint, go for it, because the next song is going to be a recovery where you do not have to do that. So I like people to know that they're going to be able to recover and then go at it 100% again. So there's that. I got that. All my music mostly, I can't say that. All of my music lately has been coming from Apple Music and iTunes, but I have a huge music catalog of stuff from a long time ago. Very rarely does that stuff get pulled out because it just doesn't have the same beats per minute that I want and stuff like that, but I try to use my own catalog as much as I can. And once you have a music service, Spotify, Apple Music, stuff like that, music becomes unbelievably accessible. And I found a lot of really great stuff that way. Also, just ask people all the time, what are you listening to? I'm constantly hearing things either in the car or at the gym or from Michael, friends. Keep getting new new sources of music sounds and inspiration, because that will factor into that mixing up of your class. So I'm always listening for music, and I never listen to music the same way anymore. I used to just hear a song and like a song. Now I hear music only in terms of how it can work in a class, either cycle or even yoga. So it's kind of changed how I listen to music. If something seems to drag on or not work, etc., to you, it's because it doesn't. So go with your gut. If you're in a class and you're like, I've done it many times, I'll have a song that I thought would be great in class, we go to do it, and it's a disaster. I know that's happened with an Adele song, a Janet Jackson song. I'm trying to think. Like, while you're doing it, you're like, let me just get through this, and then I'll never do this one again. Go with your gut. If something isn't working for you, then just don't do it again, because if it's not working for you, you're going to put out energy that lets the class know it's not working for them either. So, and then my final thought, and this is a big one, so big I put it on a huge sheet of paper. Think about, and I gave you tons of examples right now, think about stuff that when you take a class you don't like or drives you crazy. So whatever that is, don't do it as an instructor, okay? Because if it drives you crazy and you're in the class, it's probably going to drive other people crazy if you do it. This is not against anyone, of course, but one of my biggest pet peeves is when there's like a song lyric and the instructor responds back to the song lyric. I just find that unbelievably cheesy. I mean, like, I don't know, like, oh, she used to work at a gym that I work at, and she doesn't work there anymore, and she hadn't worked there in a while with me as well. Interesting story about her, maybe I'll tell you one day, about how she basically tried to sabotage me, like crossing classes off of, my classes off of calendars and things, but that's another tale. But a Fergie song, no, it was Black Eyed Peas, I'll be up in the gym working on my fitness, my humps, I think it was, whatever, by the Black Eyed Peas. At that part where Fergie says, I'm up in the gym working on my fitness, she would go, that's you, and she'd point, and I was like, ugh. So that's just my thing, and I never do that, and if I do, please someone call me out on it so I can stop, because that drives me insane. So these are all just little things. Please feel free to share and comment if you're an instructor or someone who takes a class, things that drive you crazy. Oh, on an external level, I like air conditioning. I like to have fans on people. I like people to know they can get up and get out of their seat and get water if they need to, or if they have to leave early, go for it. If they come late, I'm fine with it, because life has to happen. That's just me. I like people to feel comfortable. I have a theory on that too. Like, if you turn off all the fans and the air conditioning and you want your room hot, that's great. You're going to come out drenched, absolutely. But did you come out drenched just because of temperature or because you got a good workout? I think if the room is air conditioned and you have a fan on you and you're hydrated and you're still drenched in sweat, you just had a good workout, and that's the point. So let me know some of your things about what makes a good workout for you. I would love to hear it, and maybe point out some new things to me too, because I'm always willing to learn. So thanks, Patreon members. You're kind of like the best thing ever. Okay, aloha.